So we're going to talk heat waves. The sort of heat wave where even the FIFA World Cup takes a drink break. Those 40-degree days that just hit us. You'll notice there is a surge in indoor shopping centre visits. Everyone wants to escape to where it's cool, and the nice cool air conditioners. Walking through Waitrose was what my sister kept wanting to do as she was walking home. She would duck through, and I heard other people say, let's take this way because it's cooler. So there is a surge of people wanting that indoor cooling environment. Some people might not have cooling systems at home and they want to go somewhere else. So let's consider what our options are and what we need to do as a business to survive during these 40-degree or such sweltering days that we may not be prepared for. So let's start with team members. Team members are going to want to have extra breaks. They're going to need to take that time to just take a few breaths, splash their face, and recover. In hot days, I tend to have a necktie that's damp or cooling neckties just to help keep my body temperature down, which makes me be able to operate longer in an outdoor environment. You want to make sure you've got the appropriate protection, appropriate hat, or whatever it is for your environment that you're going to need to keep your team safe, to keep them cool, to keep them protected. We also want to make sure that we're allowing them constant rehydration breaks, that they can stop and they know that it's okay to stop. I tend to make sure that we've got some electrolytes with us so that we can pop electrolytes in everyone's drink bottle. As national championships for underwater hockey, it's in summer, but it's in the water, and I still had electrolytes sitting there to go into all of the team's drink bottles, ready to go and to update throughout the day. So not only did they have to update their sunscreen, not only did they have to cover up from the sun, they had to make sure that they refilled their electrolytes and had their snack breaks. So we want to consider the physical body and how people cope and what they have to do to get through this time. So making sure they stay hydrated, making sure that they've got those extra breaks, even starting work earlier. Use the season, use the weather. You get more sun when it's hot. In the hot seasons, the sun is out for longer, so you can actually extend your day by having an earlier start to get a lot of the big jobs done that are outside in the hot before the heat of the day. So you can restructure your day using what you understand of how the weather works. You can also have a longer lunch hour just to give that extra time to recover, because it is a lot more taxing on the body. So you want to make sure you're looking after your team members. Have a chat to them, see how they're coping, keep on top of where they're all at. Make sure you adjust your practices so that your team feels supported and stay healthy so that you can continue to operate. Now we want to consider our customers. Our customers need that rehydration too. What about complimentary water? Do you have drink fountains or shaded areas, even misting areas? I used to love those. Going into the misting area in a hot day, I would always do it. So you've got to consider what the customer needs. Do we need park benches? Do we need extra seating because it's just too hot to be walking around all day? How can we create those drink rest breaks? How can we create shaded stations? Do we do more indoors? From an agritourism perspective, do we create cooling activities? So there is a beer farm in Margaret River, and in summer they set up a water slide. So everyone comes and sits down, has their lunch, has their beer, and there is people of all ages running up and down this hill, sliding down the black plastic water slide. Yes, black plastic gets hot. I don't actually think it's black plastic, but it may as well be something very similar to that. So they slide down this water slide, come back up, and people linger longer because they're not getting uncomfortable. And they go prepared for this cooling activity to play in the water slide. And we've been before and been so disappointed that we've hit the wrong time slot or the wrong day and we've missed the water slide. So people actually plan their day around going. One thing you need to remember in the heat is people don't always think as logically as normal. They're hot, they're flustered, and they become more tunnel visioned. I went to an event and it was really uncomfortably hot. And we all got handed little containers of bubbles. And both me and my husband thought, this is great. They've given us shots of water. Until we saw someone blowing the bubbles. So make sure that things are labelled clearly, because if someone is tunnel visioned of I want water, I want water, I want water, they might see something and think it's something that it's not. So make sure in your heatwave that you are really clear about your offer, what you're offering, and consider what else it could look like from different eyes. So what about finding some shaded parasols, something that your customer can walk around with to take their shade with them? You could open earlier. You could be open later. You could have summer night markets because you know the middle of the day is going to be too hot, so you're going to be closed then. So let's promote this event at the end of the day. How can you use the weather to create atmosphere, to create business that's alternative to what you normally do, to create an event around being open early to pick your own, or being open late for food and whatever else sort of event you're going to put on, food and music. So you can adjust what you do and promote it so that you can get around the heat wave. And you can even do the promotion if you are going to close for the middle of the day because it isn't appropriate, then promote that out there. But guess what? This is what we're doing instead. So instead of making it a downer, make it exciting. Be aware if you do have some events cancelled and this heat wave has caught you by surprise, or some events on, and this heat wave has caught you by surprise, you may need to postpone, you may need to make adjustments. So make sure you risk manage any events that are already existing during this time to make sure that you are considering the safety of your patrons, the safety of your staff, as well as any emergency considerations that you may need to take into account. So that's our customers and that's our staff. Don't forget about your livestock. They're going to need more water. They're going to need more shaded areas. Their water is going to need to be checked more regularly. When we hit big heat days, I tend to move the animals into the orchards, but that's because we have the ability to do that. That's not always the case. But at least in the orchard, there is a lot more shade so that the animals can be more comfortable. So we need to consider the long term. How often are heat waves and what can we put into place for the safety and needs of the animals? You may need to evaluate what you're growing or what you're raising. You may need to consider water conservation measures, your shade considerations, and of course, always constantly checking to make sure that the animals have water. So change your routine for your staff to keep your animals safe as well. So don't just forget the animals are there, they're part of your business. Your plants are there and they get really droopy and they don't like the heat. Consider what measures you can put into place to help them as well. Good luck.